the analogy of the mind to a movie theater.
तपोभिः क्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्ष्योऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते.
Now, you may ask the question, this is a presentation on the mind. Why am I talking about the three bodies? So the three bodies, our bodies are actually divided into three portions. We call it the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. The gross body is the physical body. The subtle body includes the mind as well as the five organs of the senses, five sense organs. These are not the golakams, what is the ears, the external eyes. These are the power of perception behind the eyes, ears, etc. So the subtle body consists of the five sense organs, the five organs of action, the five pranas, and the four portions of the mind, totally 19 constituents. So this is a presentation on the mind, but the reason I'm including this is because the subtle body, by definition, being subtle, it cannot be described with forms and shapes because it has no form and shape. So we use analogies in Vedanta as well as in yoga. People use analogies to describe the mind. And that is the reason I'm bringing this up. The mind, as I said, belongs to the subtle body. It cannot be known to others, but portions of it, like portions of the mind, are known to oneself. Okay, so I just now said that the mind, there are 19 constituents to the subtle body, including four parts of the mind. These four parts of the mind are the manas, which is memory and the feelings. This is distributed throughout the body. Your body has a lot of memory. That's why you feel the gut feel that you get. Certain things evoke some memories in your body, like a knee can start hurting, or you develop pleasant sensations in your chest. Then there is the buddhi. This is the intellect. Then there is the ahamkara, which is the ego. And finally, there is the chitta. This is what we're going to cover in detail in this presentation. The chitta is a link to consciousness. Chit iva bhavayati chittam. So it acts as though it is like the chit, and we'll cover all these terms. And behind all these four portions, there is what is called the chit or the atma. It is the original consciousness. It is the consciousness. It is also called Sakshi Tattvam, which means the witness principle. So, if you see these four portions of the mind, the chitta, the link to the consciousness, is always is on. It is only in the state of deep sleep, sushupti. That's the only avastha under which it is off. The ahankara, sense of I-ness, can be off under other situations too. When you're in a state of flow, you don't have a sense of I. You're just in a flow, as described by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Then the ahankara is not operating, and the buddhi, as we all know, can be off at times. Therefore, the manas, buddhi, and ahankara are off in REM sleep, but the chitta, the movie theater of the mind, is on during REM sleep. Now, I described this consciousness. It's called Chit or Sakshi, which means witness, or Atma. There are five properties to this consciousness. The first property is Atma Aprameyaha. that which cannot be comprehended. So by definition, Atma, you cannot describe it. It cannot be known. And that is why throughout Vedanta, we've seen that in the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna gives examples, and in Vedanta and yoga also, they give um, analogies to describe the Atma. They use like Akasha, space, like ever, or like the ocean, the waves in the ocean. They are like the Jivatma, but the content is still water. And the other properties are avinashi, it is eternal or indestructible. Sarvagataha, it's all pervading everywhere, inside, outside the body, everywhere. It's nirvikaraha, it is changeless. And importantly, it is akarta and abhokta. It does not do any actions. It is not affected by the result of actions. Why is it not affected by the result of actions? Simply because it doesn't do. Only when you do can you be affected by the result of actions. So aprameha, it cannot be comprehended. Um, by definition, the chit cannot be known because it is you. The proof that this chit or the seer or the purusha or the drashta exists is the seen. Just like the proof of a camera is the image. So that is why you can search the entire universe for this consciousness, but you are the consciousness. The fact that you can see means there is a consciousness that exists within you. So you don't have to search everywhere. The thing is to look inside. Okay, now we come to the topic of this presentation. Chitta. Chittiva bhavayati chittam, the movie theater of the mind, which almost looks like the consciousness, and we'll see why it is so. So this chitta is often thought of, at least in the yoga philosophy, it's thought of like a screen, not a movie theater, but they didn't have a movie theater perhaps those days, but it's like a screen onto which images are projected. So you have the projector light, and there's a screen on which an image is projected, and there is this film, and information is coming from the senses in one direction. So that's the stuff on the film. It's projected onto the screen, and the information goes to the memory and gets stored. And sometimes from the memory, we retrieve things and play it again and again in the screen. So it happens in this direction. So it's a two-way screen. It can go this way and it can go the other way. Now, this reflection on the screen is what is called the reflected consciousness, or chid abhasa. Chit is the consciousness, abhasa is the reflection. So it is called the chidabhasa. And this contents, whatever is coming here, they are the vrittis. So what is projected on the screen of the mind, they are the vrittis, or the modifications. Patanjali talks about 5 types of vrittis in the Yoga Sutras. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra smritayaha. So pramana is the correct cognition. And then there is viparyaya, which is the incorrect cognition. Vikalpa is cognition of a thing that does not exist and which is other than pramana and viparyaya. So viparyayo mitya jnanam atad rupa pratishtam shabda jnananupati vastu shunyo vikalpaha. So vikalpaha, vastu shunyam, there's no it's cognition of a thing which does not exist, and it's other than pramana and viparya. And sleep, nidra, is also, it's a distinct awareness of the state of suppression. And then Patanjali talks about smriti, or the memory, is the awareness again of previous cognitions. So those are the vrittis, which is like the film, and that's which is projected onto the screen. Now, this projector light, as you saw, that is like the original consciousness, the Sakshi. It is the projector lamp is the original consciousness. It illumines the entire movie theater. Without it, nothing is possible. Now, the reflecting medium is the screen. You may ask, why is, even though the consciousness is the same in all living beings, plants and animals, why is human consciousness supposedly better than plant and animal consciousness? The reason, they say, is it's because of humans have a superior reflecting medium. So if the reflecting medium is not good, the reflection is also not good. A dull screen provides a poorer image. So the reflecting medium in humans is superior. Now, the analogy that's given for Jivatma and Paramatma. Jivatma is the individual, Paramatma is the Ishvara, what you call the God. When the Atma or the Sakshi, this projector light, is reflected on a small reflecting medium like a mind and a body, it is called Jivatma. It is like the reflection on a convex mirror. The reflection on a convex mirror looks small, right? So it is a small reflection. So that's why, even though it is the same Atma that is illuminating, because the mind plus body reflecting medium is small, the reflection is small. Whereas in the case of Paramatma or Ishvara, Atma is reflected on the entire universe as a reflecting medium. So it's called Paramatma. It is like reflection on a concave mirror. It looks big, right? Then, so we have the projector light, which is like the original consciousness. And then we have the right light reflected from the screen. It is like the reflected consciousness. You may ask at this point, so we have the Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is the like the projector light, witness principle. Prakriti is all inert. Why do we need this concept of Chidabhasa? This Chidabhasa is actually the one that represents the knowing process. So look at the word carefully. It's the term knowing process. So it is a process. A process, by definition, involves change. Since Atma, as we saw, is nirvikaraha, is changeless, it cannot contribute to the knowing process. So knowing does not happen in the Atma, because Atma doesn't change. If you know, then there's something changing, right? But by definition, Atma doesn't change. Therefore, the knowing process or the transactions do not happen at the level of the Atma. And the pure mind by itself is inert. It's supposed to be made of the five subtle elements. It cannot contribute to knowing because it's completely, the pure mind is completely inert. That is why this term called mysterious term, it's called a mysterious term. The Chidabhasa is introduced to introduce the concept of the knower and the process of knowing. So Chidabhasa is Chit plus Abhasa. It's a reflection of the original consciousness, which is the Chit. It's like the reflection on the screen. It, together with the mind-body complex, is called Ahankara, or the ego. It is the knower and causes the process of knowing. It provides sentiency to the otherwise inert mind. There are other examples to illustrate Chidabhasa. So this is some of the classical examples given by Shankaracharya and others. One is moonlight. So we talked about the reflection on the screen, right? It provides light, everything comes to life, but it is not the original light like that. The moon has no light of its own. It's a light from the sun that's shining and illuminating the earth at night. So that is the moonlight. So the reflected light on the moon is the Chidabhasa. It's like the Chidabhasa. Then a glowing hot metal ball over fire. So the ball is glowing. It's very hot. That the heat in the ball is akin to the Chidabhasa. Why? Because the heat is not the innate property of the ball. It is the innate property of the fire, but not of the ball. You keep it away from the fire for long enough, it'll lose its heat. It won't glow anymore. So it is borrowed consciousness. So it's like the borrowed consciousness, borrowed heat.
दिग्देशकालाद्यनपेक्ष्य सर्वगम् शीतादिहृन्नित्यसुखम् निरञ्जनम् यस्वात्मतीर्थम् भजते विनिष्क्रियः स सर्ववित् सर्वगतो मृतो भवेत्। ॐ